I'm a big fan of roguelikes of all kinds. I've played a ton of them, and some for hundreds of hours. Enter the Gungeon is one of my favourites, and without a doubt, one of the best designed roguelikes out there. Every time I play it, I get completely absorbed. The game had a lot of steam when it came out, but now that it's over 5 years old, it's become a little bit more obscure. So let's talk about why you should play Enter the Gungeon. The first thing to mention about Enter the Gungeon is that it's completely obsessed with guns. Everything is bullets. The enemies are bullets, the guns shoot bullets, you can be a bullet, there's a bullet that shoots guns, it's bullets all the way down. Bullet. It's both silly and completely committed to its lore. There's a lot of references to pop culture and it's a big part of the game. It basically worships the rule of cool. So now let's talk about the actual gameplay. Enter the Gungeon is a twin-stick shooter bullet hell roguelike. It's a difficult game at first and it will take you quite a few runs to learn patterns and start getting far. The gameplay is intense and punishing but also deeply satisfying. There are a huge amount of items and weapons that make it rare for 2 runs to feel the same. Almost every gun feels unique. There are so many that after 60 hours I'm still finding completely new ones, and there's a good mix between wacky weapons and conventional ones. There's also a mechanic called Synergies where your weapons or items will behave completely differently depending on what other items you currently have. There are enough secrets, rare events and game-changing items that the game takes a long time to become repetitive. There's also loads to unlock and tons of secrets to hunt, so you're always going to have some kind of a goal for a run. On top of all this, the game is heavily skill-based. The first time I played it took me a long time until I had a successful run, but coming back to it with a fresh save file, I won my first run. The runs can be quite long. If you include secret floors, a run can sometimes clock up to being well over an hour, and a small mistake can end it all. This can sometimes be frustrating, but it really adds to the intensity. I think it helps that the game is completely fair. Whenever you take damage, it's because you made a mistake. For me, it's one of the best games for getting into a flow state where I'm so focused that I'm not thinking of anything else. It's kind of hypnotic in a way. Visually, the game uses a pixel art style that's become a little bit overused with time. It's quite high fidelity, and I quite like it. I think it looks pretty good. Everything that needs to be distinct looks distinct and is easily identifiable. Visually, it also has a lot of charm, although a lot of that comes from the humour of the game. There are a lot of visual puns and jokes. How much you enjoy the art style then probably depends on how much you enjoy the actual humour of the game. The music is intense and pounding when it needs to be. Personally, I like the soundtrack a lot. You do hear the same tracks a lot, but because you're usually so focused on the gameplay, that's okay. You're not focused enough on the music for it to get repetitive or grating. I think there's some pretty standout tracks in the soundtrack, but music is very subjective, so this will depend on your personal taste. The game's story and lore is actually quite well established, which is surprising considering the theme. Despite it being really silly, it plays it straight. The world has a lot of consistency with its lore. The gist of it is that you're going into the Gungeon to find the gun that can kill the past, to erase a mistake from your character's past. A lot of the story isn't directly told, it's more told through item descriptions, so as much as I enjoy the story, you could also completely miss it. Don't get me wrong, the story is no masterpiece, but I do respect them being so committed to what is such a silly premise. Enter the Gungeon is one of the best roguelikes ever. It may not do anything super innovative, but it's so well polished and designed that I don't really mind. If you're a fan of roguelikes, you need to check this game out. Even if you're not, if you want a game that you can keep playing and improving at, this game is amazing. Remember to like and subscribe for more game recommendations, and tell me what your favourite roguelike is in the comment. I will see you guys next time.